All right, welcome to War History. Right now, we're going to talk about the Reign of Terror. Before we talk about the Reign of Terror, can anybody give me examples of various types of protests or movements that you know of? Anybody raise your hand?
Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay, that's a good one. Black Lives Matter. Anything else?
Civil rights movement.
Civil rights movement. Spell.
You want protest examples?
Yes.
Trump protests?
Okay, Trump protest. Alright, the only reason I want to talk about, I asked you guys to give me various types of protests because the Reign of Terror was a massive protest / movement that happened during the French Revolution. As you can see right here, somebody can give me, the definition of the Reign of Terror is, it was a political protest involving the series of violent protests from the lower and middle class citizens of France that were against the higher classes like the nobility and the monarchy. The objective that I want you guys to focus on today is the students will be able to explain in great detail some of the events that occurred during this time period and what they would do in groups. Alright, so if you could write this down, this is going to be your overview of what occurred during this time. So the Reign of Terror occurred in 1793 through, oh, I made a typo. Forget 1793, it's supposed to be 1793 to 1794 is when it occurred. It was led by Maximilien Robespierre, and most of the supporters and revolutionists were middle class and lower class French citizens. The revolution's main goal was to rid everything that was French during that time period, so they wanted nothing to do with the monarch. They wanted new logical changes, not just the same old traditions. Very radical, very violent and rapidly. As you see, around 40,000 people died and were executed for committing counteractive revolutionary acts, which pretty much states that anybody that was supporting the revolution was against were executed. These are some of the causes that caused the Reign of Terror. Bad leadership under Louis XVI, which was the king around the time. The French citizens were very inspired during the time of the Enlightenment period, which was a political renaissance, which gave off new ideas about how government was supposed to be. The monarchy and nobility abused their power on taxes and could not compromise on tax reforms. As I mean by that, it means that all the taxes were basically went towards the lower class and middle class, with the nobility and monarchy not really paying most of the taxes, so it fell all upon the French citizens. They got involved during the Revolutionary War, which helped the Americans beat the British Army, and Fourierism. As you see right here, peasants, knights, and nobles, and the king, if you're around this area, if you were born a serf, you're just going to stay a serf. There was no chances of moving up the social ladder, as you say. If you could get in groups, I want you guys to discuss why these causes of war, why some of these reasons why this caused the French Revolution.
So, people not happy with their situations, not being able to change their situation, probably led to that.
I guess
revolution.
they weren't.
I think,
can't
the
think
bad
of the teacher
leadership
was
was
like maybe like doesn't
important.
seem bad to his people,
Mhm.
but then like.
I think
outside
also
the
like
situation,
if you're not
bad
allowed to
sadness.
move up the social scale, like that's gonna cause, I know like frustration and like the society's just gonna be like at this like stuck point, and if people wanna make a change, then they're gonna like
Futurism is
uproar.
a
It's like I don't know.
social,
That's like a way for them to try to like change the social
like I
status or
said,
whatever.
It's where like the lower class and middle class.
Oh, it's a class system?
Yes,
Oh.
exactly. I shouldn't explain that better. So if you're born into a certain class, you're stuck for that, and it goes on for generations and generations. So, all right, come back together. Anybody want to explain what they discussed in the groups? Hey. All right.
I mean, we discussed like bad leadership, like obviously like if like we had a president or somebody who was like just doing stuff totally crazy, we probably wouldn't wanna follow them, so we'd probably be like, let's overthrow the government.
Awesome.
Well, maybe not that radical at first, but.
Probably not,
Yeah.
but slowly by,
Yeah.
not moderate pace, not like rapid, like no, but like piece by piece. Okay, anything? Anybody else? All right, moving on. Here's some of the vocabulary I want you to work down. So, like I said again, Maximus Rapier is a very important figure. He was actually one of the main leaders during the time of the Revolutionary. The National Convention, once they overthrew the French monarch, this was the first government that was established during that time. The Committee of Public Safety was the group that was led by Robespierre, became like one of the first political groups. The famous guillotine, as you see right here, it was the machine that was used to execute most of the counter-revolutionary and the monarchy. As you see, just drop, head off. King Louis XVI was the king during the time, which led to that. He was a bad king. He didn't do much for France and their citizens. And his wife, Marie Antoinette, who also did not do much for France.
Isn't she famous? Is that like the only reason she's famous? Like just because she was like the queen, I guess? Or did she do something else?
She was pretty much the queen. She was like kind of like somebody who was, oh, she's so pretty.
Oh, okay.
It was like, she was like a model kind of modern day model. Alright. Alright, so this is a timeline of the current events. I would like for you guys to look up, to overview and discuss with your table groups what some of the events that happened.
I think it's interesting that it's called the Marie Antoinette type thing. So like that she has like I guess a lot more significance than the king himself. Like, do you know why the timeline is called the Marie Antoinette timeline? If she was just like the queen.
Interesting.
It gives an overview about what occurred.
Okay,
It's really good.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess she's more.
Like,
I don't know.
I just heard her name before, it was like, she sounds famous for like, not just for like, I feel like not just for.
She sexually abused her son in October 14th.
Oh gosh. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
I don't like Marie Antoinette.
There you go.
Did the sun get me?
She might have been.
This is a very
She was
specific
kind
timeline.
of-
This is a very interesting timeline. It's so specific by like date, like the 15th and the 16th.
On the 16th, she was executed, so.
Why was she executed? Before
She
the.
was- She was a monarch.
Okay. Oh yeah.
She tried to get rid of everybody. That's why her husband as well, King Louis XVI.
Was he executed before her?
Yes.
So that would make sense why this is called the Marie Antoinette timeline. Okay.
Yeah.
Piecing things together.
Is she the person that said, like, let there be cake? Was that her?
There'd be cake.
Let there be cake? I don't remember.
Okay, I think I heard that before, yeah. Pretty sure. Okay, so, I would decide to put you in groups, so you guys are in a group, you two are in a group, and you with him are in a group. So, I want you guys to pick a specific, event to overview and just write in your notes, and we're going to do some research, so you're allowed to use any kind of electronic device like a cell phone, computer. So if you, and just explain what you researched, and that's it.